Wait, tell me what's going on here.
What's going on here?
Hey, this is Houston. What's happening?
This is Hartford. What's happening?
Hey, same thing.
Yeah, right.
Hey, who's got the beep?
Who thought of this?
Who's got the beeper on?
The Briarcliff Manor.
I don't know. I think we may.
Okay, we cut the beepers?
I don't know. Let's see what we can do.
Yes. Is Paul there?
Yes, here.
Oh, well, why don't you organize all those voices?
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Very good. We're trying to get rid of that beep for you.
Oh, good. Haven't heard it yet.
It's very annoying. Beep.
To love all these beautiful voices.
Yeah.
This is too much. What is going on
What's
here,
happening?
man?
Who is this?
The
Which
drink-
one
This is Houston. What's happening? Hold it. Why don't we get a roll call here? All right?
Sounds good.
Let's get a roll call from the East Coast office.
Okay. You want me? Since I'm the farthest east, for sure. My name's Paul Robinson.
Who's on the line, anyway?
All right, let's call it Ron Berger. You there? Oh, that's right. They couldn't get you. Paul Payton.
Yeah, over here.
Bob Slavin.
Where?
Jerry Lubin.
Right here from Detroit.
Jim Hilty.
Tony Raven for Jim Hilty in Houston.
Tony Raven for Jim Hilty. Bobby Reno.
Here in New Orleans.
Lee Arnold. Oh, they kept getting recording. Dick Finley.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Mr. Morgan.
Mr. Weiland from Mr. Morgan. Hi, Dick.
Wyland for Mr. Morgan there. George Meyer.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Don
George
Grant.
Meyer.
George. Hello.
Pete Larkin.
Here. Jim Larkin. Yeah, Pete Larkin. Oh, we got two Larkin. Hey, is that Bruce? Hey,
Tom Kennedy.
We're with you here in Cincinnati.
Kennedy, greetings.
what?
Hello to you.
Bruce?
Hi, Rich.
Finley, how you doing?
I know.
They're going to make this into a fire sign theater.
This is pretty good.
Hey, Gil, Paul, let's kick it off. Let's go.
Okay, I'll take the first question.
John, do you want to help me on this?
Yeah, I'll take the first question.
John?
John, when did you first meet John Lennon? Oh, about 1940.
John,
Yeah?
why the oldies?
Why not?
Okay.
No, I mean,
Amen.
I've been thinking of doing it for years, and in between doing other albums way back in Beatle days and since, when in between takes, like, we'd always start messing around and we'd always play those songs, you know? Bebop-a-Lula, Ain't That a Shame?
Has it taken you a couple of years to put it together? I noticed on the back of it, some of it was done in 1973 and
Well,
some in
it was a
1974.
psychodrama, and it was called Phil Spector.
Right?
And I started it in 73 with Phil, and it sort of petered out.
The album is very good to dance to, and I noticed that a lot of music coming out or being influenced now is dance music. Was that any part of...
No, I mean, I was just, when I started it, I just finished Mind Games, and I felt like just singing oldies and not being the producer. So the ones with Phil on, he produced, you know. But the thing collapsed. He had or supposedly, I don't know, you never know with Phil, he had a car accident, and then I never got hold of the tapes till just as I was starting Walls and Bridges. So out of about 8 tapes, about 4 of them were really worth using, you know.
What are your personal favorites on it?
Oh, that's pretty hard. I like Stand By Me, and Bebop-a-Lula is one of my all-time favorites, so I like that, you know.
Hey, John,
Yeah?
when you did that album, did that kind of bring back a lot of memories of the old days doing those old rock and roll tunes like that?
Yeah, there was some... it was deja vu, as Crosby, Stills, and Knickers always say.
Must have been a lot of fun
talking
putting
to
them
a
all
friend,
down.
you know, when I was doing something like Peggy Sue, which I hadn't sung since I was about 16, I suddenly, on the take that turned out to be the take, I suddenly found myself just remembering it all in my head without reading the lyrics, and just remembering all the inflections when I used to imitate Holly. So I really would sort of suddenly find myself age 16 again doing them. And it was quite a trip.
Really? Getting your hair back, too?
Well, my hair just happens to have grown down to my shoulders now. It's always the wrong length at the wrong time, but I like it like that.
Could you tell us about the cover of the LP, John?
The cover was a picture taken by a German friend of ours, the Beatles, in 1960 in Hamburg, and the 3 shadowy figures on the front, for those of you who've got the cover or will see it, are Paul. There's sort of 3 people out of focus that are moving, you know. It's one of those photos where I'm still in a doorway and there's 3 figures moving, and it's Paul, Stuart Sutcliffe, who was an early Beatle who died, and George. And the guy just turned up at the Beatle Fest in New York selling these photos, and apparently he'd been living in New York for the last 3 years. And he was a friend of Klaus Voormann, who turned out to be a bass player. And that's the story behind that. And I thought it sort of suited the day, the album.
John, does a move back toward rock and roll mean a move back toward the Beatles? In other words, how about those rumors of the group reforming that are always around? What status is that in, if any?
Well, let's say we're just good friends, ho-ho.
you heard about
We're
the...
talking, and we're all happy with each other. You know?
I love you by yourself, John.
John,
Me too, man.
John, have you got wind of the Canadian thing? Some stations up there are trying to get people together to try and get you guys to get back for one last show in the whole routine. Have you heard about that?
I haven't heard about it, but the thing is, if we got back together, it wouldn't be for one last show, right? I mean...
I should think so.
You know, and obviously, my instincts are, if we ever do anything together, it'd be more sensible for us to sit in a studio together and get relaxed together and make some music before we went stomping out, you know, on stage. I'm not saying that's in the offing.
How's the legal thing? You getting any amnesty?
I haven't had my amnesty yet, no. My immigration remains just the same.
I'd be interested to know they sentenced John Mitchell today. How do you feel about that?
I want to say congratulations, John.
John, what about the charges that were supposed to be a conspiracy against you? I remember reading something about that a while back.
Well, it wasn't against me personally. There was like a fishnet out in the late 60s, right?
Yeah.
And they just hooked in everybody, and I was part of the people they hooked in because I was associated or seen around with Rubin and Hoffman and those people, you know?
Yeah.
And at the time when it started, the immigration, I was being bugged. My phone was being bugged, and I was being followed around by cars, but this was pre-Watergate, and everybody thought I was crazy.
What's the latest
Well, we
status
lost the
now?
case on that in court, I have to say that. We couldn't prove that we were being followed, but it did stop after I went on Dick Cavett. To me, then everybody vanished.
John, why do you want to live in the United States?
Because I love it. You know, I don't know what else to say. I just like it here.
And if you leave, you can't come back, right? I think he left.
Can't come back?
Okay.
You're on the air, lady.
How did you feel when you came out on the stage with Elton John that night? I happened to be there, and it was one of the most exciting things that ever happened to me. And you looked like you were dazzled by the whole reaction.
Well, I hadn't been on the stage for 3 years or something, and it was really weird, you know, especially when I woke up and looked around and it was some other guy's band, you know.
You seem to have mellowed out a bit, John, since the first solo album. That was full of a lot of pain, it seems.
Yeah, well, I still get toothache, but I just can't go on singing about it every album. I thought it was a valid statement for then, you know, but it said what it said, and you don't just go on about it, you know.
How you doing with Yoko? I understand you're seeing your lady again.
Yeah, we've been together now 2 weeks, and it's fun.
John Houghton from Milwaukee, are you insecure about your voice?
Yeah, I hate it.
Is that why you always use a lot of echo, no matter whether you're doing oldies or newies or whatever?
But I just like that sound, you know. I mean, that's the sound that turns me on. If I'm not using actual tape echo, I use a machine, which everybody uses anyway. I can't remember the name of it. There's different variations of it. I very seldom just have a straight voice. Otherwise, it doesn't sound like a record to me.
John Lennon?
Yeah?
Will Bartlett, PDQ-FM in Jacksonville. How much unreleased material does the Beatles have in the can?
Practically nil. The only unreleased stuff is the stuff that is like bootleg that came from weird concerts in Sweden and places like that.
John, we in Chicago are outraged by all of this nonsense they're causing you, and something you may be interested in. A senator's son went to the Jethro Tull concert in Chicago last night and was busted for an ounce of grass and sent home 2 hours later.
Ah, well, that sounds like the usual story, doesn't it?
A question relating to the original bust. The whole root of this thing happened 6 years ago now, something like that.
Yeah.
And the cop involved has become famous for being involved in either planting stuff on people or just being out to bust everybody he can. Have you met him, and what's the story on that we can get it straight?
I haven't seen him since he bust me, but since he left, at the period he was busting me, he planted me, George, and Jagger, and a few people, you know. And later on he went on to not just planting people, but to taking money from them, you know. And then he got into the big time, and there was quite a big scandal in the London police about the drug squad. Quite a lot of them, including him and his superiors, are now in jail. He was caught in Australia trying to run away. The English always run to Australia thinking it's the end of the earth, but they always get caught.
John, why do you think they're still after you? So many years have gone by since then, and theoretically we have a whole new environment now politically. Why do you think they're still after you?
Well, you know what red tape is, man. I mean, it's just red tape, and somebody started it 4 years ago, and nobody knows how to finish it. I mean, it's a political decision that'll have to come from Washington.
John?
and they have to make up their minds.
Right. John?
Yeah?
Do you think collectively, as all of the radio stations that are on this telephone, if we combined ourselves and did something for you, what could we do?
You could get everybody to write into their locals or get it all together and send it to Washington, you know, because it really counts. It'd be great if you did something like that.
You can
count
on it in Chicago. Why don't you cut a promo spot and circulate it with all the FMs around the country? We'll be glad to help you out.
Very much.
That would be a good idea.
I'd like to do that, John.
I'll get together with Capital on that.
I'm sorry, your call did not go through.
Oh,
Will you please hang up and try again? This is a recording.
I didn't catch the end of your sentence. What? I did not catch. John?
Yeah?
I did not
I'm
catch.
sorry, your call did not go
Somebody
through.
interrupted
Will you please hang up and try again? This is a recording.
Please shut up for a second so he could finish the question. Finish the answer, please.
Which was the bit you didn't get?
I'm sorry, your call did not go through.
The end of your
Will you
sentence was
please
cut
hang
off
up and try again? This is a recording.
Sounds like a disc
Well,
jockey.
look, most recordings let you get a word in, so the answer was that I did the charities when I had...
I'm sorry, your call did not go through. Will you please hang up and try again? This is a recording.
I think he's serious. That's Jerry Ford.
No.
Who is that?
Jerry Ford.
Not too wise.
Announcer.
I think it's real. I'm sorry, your call did not go through. Will you please hang up and try again?
Not real.
This is a recording.
I'm Pete Larkin at WMAL-FM. Ms. Split, I'd like to take just a moment to thank you for a lot of years of great music.
Well, thank you. And thank all of you for putting up with this madness. And if I'm around, I'll get to see you. If not, all the best to you, and thanks for playing the music.
John, we all thank you very much, man, because without you, none of us would have been here doing what we're doing.
Well, it goes both ways, you know.
Good luck to you.
Everybody, thanks a lot.
John, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, and thank you.
Say hello to Paul in New Orleans.
Bye-bye.
Are you going to try to get back down here before...
Yeah, I'm going to try and get there before he finishes.
Hey, Paulie?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Get a chance.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll talk to you, Bob, too.
Goodbye, America.
A great Firesign Theater
Bye,
album.
America, from Capitol Records and John Lennon. Near left.
This is a recording. Take you later.
Bye-bye.
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 Well, thanks a lot.
So long.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you, Lee.
Goodbye. Strange. Who's left? Last call for alcohol.
Crazy. Thank you, Paul.
Jim and his ladder. Oh, yes. What's happening? Hey, Paul?